right? Like, your jungle is still fairly much the same, with Wukong being the big pick in the jungle, which is banned away by FPX. Your AD carries are still very similar, and we saw a lot of Renata. We saw Kalista starting to come into the meta as well. Like, I don't think there's going to be anything too surprising for RNG here. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Xiaohu go back towards things like the Galio and these kind of things where they can still, as RNG, just play the map much better than their opponents.
We'll have to see if they can. As the bans coming through, Gwen, Wukong being banned by FPX, the Lucian, the Senna, and the Kalista. Well, Shadow Isles going on here from RNG. Shadow Isles based ADCs take it away from LWX here. See what FPX are going to go for their last ban. Could be something like a Viego if you don't want to go up against that one. I mean, what else? What are the other first picks that you think could be taken off?
Yeah, I mean, I think most of them have kind of been taken off the board already. I mean, yeah, that's why the Ezreal are going to be taken off the board. But I think the Viego, yeah, is probably a standout one for Wei. And honestly, one of Wei's best champions, as we saw at MSI. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them just go for this here. And just make sure that Wei's going to be on a comfort pick.
Let's see. There's the Ezreal gone. That Viego, it's been first picked consistently. And if not, it's answered on the other side almost every single time. It's something Wei is exceptionally good at as well. We've seen it internationally from him time and time again. So the Viego locked in. Now for FPX. Things like the Ahri available if they want to go for that. Some teams have liked that as a first pick, other teams not so much. But Clid, going for a Lee Sin, that feels pretty comfortable.
Yeah, and it's a good matchup again into the Viego, so not surprised to see him go towards this. And now I'm curious to see, like, what do they want to try and take for LWX in the bot lane? Because it feels like that's probably going to be your next best bet, right? And I think securing a strong, aggressive bot lane for LWX is going to be your best point of call. But Twitch, not exactly very aggressive, but I think Zeri definitely could fit into that wheelhouse.
Yep, Zeri certainly could work. I mean, I'm just saying Kai'Sa is not played massively right now, but LWX is real good on her. I'd love to see a cheeky bit of Kai'Sa gameplay come out from LWX. It's actually going to be a Xayah, which we've really not seen much of this split.
Yeah, I mean, she hasn't been a super high priority, but still a very strong champion on the patch. Like, the crit build means that you still get a lot of damage off. You got good self-peel as well. So, especially when RNG, you look at them, what they played at MSI, a huge amount of dive with things like that Galio that we were talking about. And I think having Xayah, the ability to peel for herself, is going to make things a lot easier. Gallo, though, we're going to see what he decides to go for in response. And so, yeah, I mean, RNG kind of just going, hey, yeah, I mean, let's just go MSI.
Yep, that's what it feels like right now. They're just playing for the MSI patch. It's going to be Tahm Kench as well, alongside the Jinx here. You could go for the Rakan for Hung if you want to. Hung's certainly a powerful Rakan player. We'll see if that's going to be the option. But yeah, it feels like, honestly, both teams, this is basically MSI patch.
Yeah, and now you're just going to have the response here with the Rakan. I think Rakan works super well in towards the Tahm Kench, and also kind of sets you up as that super strong Xayah Rakan, which is just perfect for the ability for FPX to try and play aggressive on that bottom side. I think, though, you're kind of going, okay, well, what do RNG have now to kind of follow through? Because as we said, like, Xiaohu, big Galio player, so that's going to be taken away. Maybe you get rid of something like the Ahri as well in that mid lane too, to just make sure that Xiaohu is off of what has been his kind of comfort coming through from MSI, and see if you can set up something nice for Care.
Yeah, I will say, trying to remove comfort from Xiaohu is basically impossible. He's been playing for so long that I feel like no matter what the meta, he will have picks that he can pull out of the bag. Even something like the Corki that we have seen, like doing B bringing the Corki in, there has been some presence there. If you do just want to go for something safe that also has roam potential. We'll have to wait and see though. As Swain taken off by RNG. Let's see what the last ban is. It's actually going to be Xiaohu's Fiora, which a reasonable respect ban, honestly. Xiaohu's a hell of a Fiora, and if you don't want to deal with that, fair enough.
Yeah, I think I'd love to see the Talia here come through for Care in the mid lane. I think she's incredibly strong, good push, and the ability to try and play towards side lanes is going to work out super well for you here. Even just making sure that you can try and keep the Xayah Rakan safe in that bottom lane could work, but they're actually going to just take away that Ahri that we are talking about. So instead of banning away, make sure that Care has his opportunities to try and play this.
Immediately answered by Xiaohu with the Lissandra. It's a pick we've seen him play time and time again. And Preeth going with the Gangplank. So we pretty much have the composition that we just saw from JDG on that side. Not well, a couple of slight differences, but overall not crazy different. And now FPX toying with the idea of a Kayle. This is something we saw a lot right at the very start of the LPL, and it feels like it starts to vanish a little bit. Xiaohu confidence take that Kale into a gangplank up at the top side.
I like the idea of having some sort of late game scaling in FPX's side, because when you look across at RNG, right, like they actually have a pretty strong mid game with Xiaohu being able to set up for a bunch of these plays. Their scaling is absolutely absurd with the gangplank and the jinx, so at least the Kale gives you some option to have a little bit more of that late game scaling, but and actually like try and take these fights. But it's going to be interesting to see, because I think with RNG's setup, it's just so strong, and the ability to close the gap onto FPX is going to be insane for FPX to try and deal with.
It certainly is. FPX, though, a lot of all in, right? They can definitely make things happen if they can find players around the bottom side early on. Especially, like, imagine the situation where they get to play around the bottom side of the map, and you get a bit of time for Xiaohu to be a lone top, right? If the gangplank leaves that top lane, that's dream scenario for FPX. Unless they 4v5 and lose because they've got a gangplank in their face. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. I'm excited, though, because FPX have some proactivity. They have some priority. We'll see if RNG are going to be able to match that early game. But like you say, RNG, plenty of scaling and a lot of safety in that bottom lane as well. Like, if FPX want to play bot lane, well, you're against the Tahm Kench. It's always going to be tough.
Yeah, I think the big one, though, is just even if you could try and get some plates, some pressure on that bot side for FPX, it's going to work out great. And you want to just try and leave the Kale alone in that isolated 1v1 so she can scale up into the later portion of the game. And especially if you can try and make plays happen pre-6 so Breed doesn't have access to the cannon barrage. Maybe you can make some magic happen on the bottom side, because one of the reasons I really like Rakan into Tahm Kench is because even if the Tahm Kench does devour, you're pretty much guaranteed the knock-up regardless, right? You get the 2-for-1 deal regardless, and it makes it so difficult for Tahm Kench to actually have as much safety as you would like in that bot lane.
Yeah, it certainly can be. As Wei is going to have to flash at level 1. Nice charm as well come through for FPX. They're actually going to get first blood here. Wei goes down, and LWX getting the kill credit as well. This could not have been a better start for FPX.
Beautiful start from FPX, and that's exactly what I wanted to see, right? You get the extra longsword now for LWX in that bot lane. Should be able to get some good push now into the bottom side of the map against Gall and Ming. And one of the downsides, of course, of having Ming on the Tahm Kench is that it's kind of hard for RNG to play around this bot side in a lot of situations. With Wei also having no flash, that becomes even more difficult. So FPX should have a roaring start on this bottom side of the map.
They certainly should. And you know, I wanted to move the focus onto this bot lane 2v2 next anyway, because when you look at the names in this lane, like LWX versus Gala, extremely exciting between the two AD carries. Ming versus Hung as well. Ming kind of like the old guard, one of the best supports in the history of the LPL, up against Hung, a player that a lot of people are really hyped on, a player that's trying to make a name for himself. I was expecting a spicy bot lane 2v2. The Tahm Kench kind of ruins that to some extent, but with an early kill for LWX, maybe not. Maybe more pressure can come out from FPX.
And this is where we gotta look at Clid, right? Like, you know that you have the advantage of the matchup over Wei. You now have the summoner spell advantage over Wei as well. This is where Clid should have his run of the mill in the early stages of this game. I want to see if he's going to be able to make stuff happen. The biggest worry that you've got to have, though, is Care in this mid lane, because already you can see he has no flash, taking a good amount of damage from Xiaohu, but that terror shot evens things up nicely.
Yeah, it does. Like, Care losing out in the mid lane early because he went charm for the level 1 play, right? But then Xiaohu gets charmed onto the towers. So I guess you don't need a Q when you've got tower shots to do the damage for you. Nicely done by Care to even things out there and survive the early stages.
Yeah, my biggest worry is, like, when you actually have Wei, you have Wei able to make his full clear, then maybe look for some sort of repeat gank. But because you don't have Wei with his own flash up, he will be relying heavily on Xiaohu getting the damage down and getting that CC set up so Wei can make it into lane. We'll have to see if it can happen, but if not, I mean, Care's flash will be basically back up at the exact same time as Wei's, so he shouldn't be under too much duress at that stage.
Definitely not. As Wei thought that last chicken would burn down, it did not. He has to go back and clear that one. Now looking towards this mid lane, which is, by the looks of things, pushing towards Xiaohu. If he lets it, he has Lissandra, though, so can clear those waves very effectively, should he need to. But it means that Wei just moves towards that bottom Scuttle Crab. Xiaohu could be under a bit of pressure as Clid, hovering around that mid lane, but looks like he sees better of the situation, goes towards the Crab himself.
Yeah, he's just going to take the crab, but hovering there in case Wei tried to go for some sort of funny business. You can see Wei actually like hovering in the bush as well. So I think Clid might need to take a quick trip back towards the mid to protect his care on this play.
To see as Wei moves in. Care could be in trouble. No flash, remember. The root comes out from Xiaohu. The follow-up, but a great charm once again. And here comes Clid to try and finish these kills off. Way low on HP. And it won't be a kill, but it's a nice bit of counterplay from FPX.
And you see, without Wei's flash there, wasn't able to get into a position to actually get onto Care before the CC from Xiao had gone through. So, nice job from Clid, as we said, just to protect Care in this mid lane. Stop any of those plays from coming through while Care doesn't have the flash. And with Wei dissuaded now, Care should be totally fine now with his flash coming back up soon. 6 only just around the corner as well. And FPX have weathered that kind of early potential plays from RNG in the middle.
Yeah, very nicely done here by FPX, and a positive start, right? I think a lot of people walking in today thinking this is going to be an easy one for RNG. FPX, a team that really struggled last split. RNG, fresh off a win in MSI. The expectation is RNG are the heavy favorites, so it's good to see FPX firing on all cylinders here in the early game, finding themselves that early kill. A level 1 cheese strat, always going to be nice to start the series off for themselves. And now answering the play in the mid lane as well. It's a good start.
Yeah, but I will just say, RNG never, renowned for their impressive early game. It's more about those big game plays, but here we go.
Oh, all in on the bottom side. Ming starting it off as Gala with the damage, trying to follow up on LWX. It's just going to be health bars traded, but Gala just free firing that entire time. It's a positive summoner trade in favor of RNG.
Yeah, Hung and LWX still hovering here. Clid on the way.
I'd say they're hugging around for a little bit more here as they find a knock up onto Ming. There's the shield. Heal going to be used as Ming gets into the brush, but taken down, hit with the feathers from Hung. And Clid wasn't even needed in the end.
It doesn't matter though. This is what I wanted to see out of Clid. Actually being able to support both mid and the bot side, though Care might still be in trouble.
Yeah, Care gonna have to answer for Clid being in that bottom side. Oh, gets under the tower though. He actually survives. Care gets out on 1 HP. And that's going to be super nice for FPX. They get the play bot. They survive the play mid. Beautiful stuff.
God, Care had to have felt the cold breath from Xiaohu's Q as he just barely dodged away from that. I actually thought it might have hit his model, but just able to avoid the hitbox. And now Care actually relatively safe, but round 2?
Yeah, Wei's still hanging around. The chicken going to reset there, but Care gets the charm out, finishes that wave off of Xiaohu. We'll just clear this one in the end, and we'll go for a reset likely himself here. As Breathe crashes away from the top side as well, let's check in on this top lane actually. Xiaohu on the kill, you've always got to keep an eye on how he's doing. After this wave, he's going to be up in CS. Not a bad start for the Kale.
Yeah, I mean, it's wins across the board for FPX right now. I mean, Kale is totally fine in the 1v1, so she's just going to continue to scale up. You got your bot lane already with a nice lead as well because of that early kill. The Dragon now going to go the way of FPX2. Mid lane is going pretty well for you. Like, all in all, this is a great start from FPX. And what I was hoping to see, like, it may not be as explosive as it used to be, but I'm certainly glad that we're seeing Clid, like, supporting mid lane, understanding that he needs to be there, and even being there when LWX and Hung want to make the aggressive play balls.
Yeah, it makes me hopeful that the issues we've seen so far for FPX this split were just like, okay, we've had a bit of time off, we were a little bit rusty. The start of this game feels, as you say, so much better. Clid supporting the bottom side, even if he didn't get an assist in the play, he was there for the play, right? He was aware that the play was even happening, which is not what we've seen in previous series. So definitely feels positive for FPX, and they get that first trade for themselves as well. 1,000 gold lead, Care doing well in the mid lane, a 10 CS lead up top for Xiaohu. Everything looking pretty peachy. RNG, fresh off of MSI, having a bit of a struggle for the first game.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not overly worried about RNG here because, honestly, great late game scaling. We already talked about it. Their early game has never been their strong point. It has been their mid-game decision-making. And that's where I think FPX have, at least in spring, had a little bit of a lackluster performance. I will say, though, in summer, I've actually been much more impressed with their decision-making in the mid-game, specifically around how they play around Baron. So we'll have to see if RNG are going to be able to fight back just a smidge. It is only 1,000 gold lead at the moment, so not a huge amount to write home about. But still at least a nice start for FPX to try and springboard this advantage.
We'll see if they can, as Xiaohu looks to springboard a lead top, but won't find an opportunity to do so. Xiaohu gets the reset, crash that wave, and knows that he doesn't want to stick around on that one. Breathe having a bit of a struggle up to the top side. And again, a good start here for FPX. And so positive to see when this is a team that, you know, the FPX organization, ever since 2019 when they won the World Championship, it's a household name in League of Legends. Everyone knows FPX. And this team in spring really didn't feel like they were living up to that. It does feel like they are, as you say, finally starting to find an identity, starting to live up to the name a little bit.
Yeah, and the fact now that you've even got Clid moving up to get control over Rift Child means that, like, you should start to see them continue this success. And I think that's the big one for for fans of FPX, is seeing them return to the pride and joy that they used to bring to their fans with their World Championships, and even just seeing them do well in playoffs, I think would be a big boost for a lot of people that become fans of this organization.
And I think, you know, the focus for a lot of people that are talking about FPX as an organization is LWX, right? He's kind of the only remaining franchise player. And this bottom lane have been doing well. Like, even if FPX haven't been getting wins on the board so far, they actually won 2v2 versus Viper and Mako this split, and now winning 2v2 against Gala and Ming as well, showing that actually this is a bot lane to be feared in the LPL.
Yeah, and they have been doing exceptional. You can even see here, because you've got Gala and Ming who roamed up towards the Rift Child, at least they get two turret plays for themselves. Good guy Hung as well, blocking that ult from Gala, so then he can still get the reset off as well. So
how broken is Zyra Rakan, man?
I know. But
I think that's the most under-talked about mechanic
Breathe.
of the entire game. Breathe is... He's okay. He's fine. He's got oranges. He's alright, I guess, but he's struggling.
Yeah, not exactly having the best of times, but again, like, you have both scaling opportunities up here on the top side, but maybe getting a little bit of help for Breathe might work out. I mean, Xiaohu did try to roam up, but unfortunately just wasn't able to try to find anything. So Xiaohu having a great time at the moment and well on his way towards level 11 and level 16, as we all know. We'll have to see if he can get to that point.
I have to see some clock emojis are going to be needed in chat very soon, because he's headed towards that level 10. As you're saying, getting closer. Time is ticking on. And a slow game, honestly, feels all right for both teams, really. You've got good scaling on both sides of the board. And FPX, try and make a play in the jungle. They've gone for a deep invade. There's no vision from the side of RNG. As Care will move back towards mid lane. Spectral Maw could find a stun, but Clid has found the jungler instead. Straight into the charm, beautifully done. And Hung is there to make sure nobody's getting away. Xiao, who wants to return some damage, but it's taken a lot of his own. Sonic Wave not going to be followed up on. His mind is telling him no, and his body agrees.
Clid is having a fantastic game. I love how FPX are playing around this bot lane. They already have the advantage there. Use the fact you've got the push on mid and bot to look for the pick onto Wei. Gorgeous stuff with Xiao, who's trying to respond.
Certainly is. Cannon barrage on the top side. Xiaola, who uses his ulti, wants a kill onto Breathe, who's forced to flash. Now Xiaohu closing the gap, wants to find this KL, and well, playing against Lissandra just ain't fair, is it? The Glacial Tomb is going to be precisely that for Xiaohu.
And now, at least Breathe getting a little bit of respite in this top lane. Getting the kill as well. Should get the turret play for himself. That's a big cash injection into the gangplank. And maybe even gives him the Triforce off a reset.
Yeah, that would be 2 turret plates taken by Breathe if the minion.
Oh no!
That's going to be 1 HP between that plate right there. Xiaohu. Man, Xiaohu versus Xiaohu. How hard is this one to cast? Plate goes down in the mid lane. The Herald charges for 2 more plates as well. That's a lot of plating going the way of RNG.
Yeah, nicely done though by RNG. You can see this is what we're talking about. Like in the at least in the mid game, they can start to get some gold swinging back in their favor, but it is still an advantage for FPX. Even when you look at the items, right? Care having his Everfrost now completed. LWX already with that Gale Force, and Care using that Everfrost to get some nice trades onto Xiaohu.
Yeah, Xiaohu knows that the cooldowns are down though, so goes for the W before Eing away. And just clear that wave and reset once again. But Xiaohu just continuing his absolute domination of this top side right here. He's already got 3 plates for himself and wants some more as well. And Dagda, I just want to return to something we were talking about. That play in the mid lane there from Clid, Care, and Hung. Like, we were saying how Clid doesn't feel connected, how Hung and Clid aren't really working together. Wasn't that play just a perfect example of improvement? Like, it's so rare that you get to see such a clear example of a team having a big weakness and improving on it over a week. Like, what a pleasure to witness that live.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, right? That's why it's so frustrating to watch, because we know what FPX can be like, and to seeing Clid kind of struggle to get these advantages, to communicate with his bot lane and set up well, like, that was the sad part. But to see FPX now once more firing all cylinders, this is what we wanted from this squad. And as you say, Clid, I mean, we've seen him now playing around mid super well, shutting down any sort of play from way, the bot lane set up as well, making the play in the mid lane. Like, this is what we wanted from FPX, and now they've actually got a bit of a gold lead for themselves. 2 dragons in their name. Rift Herald is going to be up in about 2 minutes time as well, so they can look to try and play around that. Like, you can start to explode open this game as FPX and just take it out of the hands of RNG.
You certainly can. But RNG, not a slant, right? RNG is a team that will not go down without a fight.
Oh, Shehu.
But I don't think that this is the fight that they were looking for. The charm, the knock-up, everything comes through, and FPX find another. And it's that 3-man squad once more to find the advantage.
Yeah, really nicely done. And as you say, it means that Xiaohu tries to take a step too far in the mid lane. They get picked. Now you got presence on mid turret. As we said, that Rift Herald is just about to spawn, so you're going to get lane priorities and vision control for that objective as well. Xiaohu doesn't even have the TP to get back either, so he's going to have to make sure that he gets the mid lane push in order before he can go. Like, FPX get a huge amount off that pick.
Interestingly, it's going to be this AD Kale as well up in that top side. Not going to go for the AP. I feel like almost a majority of players in the LPL preferring this AD build, as we get to see a clip of Xiaohu trying to dodge the charm, but the CC chain, once it all lands, I mean, there is no counterplay to this.
Yeah, there is absolutely nothing. But yeah, we've actually seen a bit of a mixture of the AD and the AP Kale. I know Flandre and the Shy have been playing the AD versions, and it kind of just depends on what you're looking for. It feels like the AD version can give a little bit more of that upfront burst. FPX.
Yeah, he's cleared the wave. I think he'll be okay. Gala and Ming being a little too aggressive maybe on that one. Not decided to go for it. In the end, Everfrost charm. Oh my god, Xiaohu just cannot catch a break in this one. Clid jumps on forwards. But, I mean, their skill shots just waiting for that Glacial team to end. Now RNG want to answer in the bot side. Counter barrage is not going to be enough to close the gap.
I mean, FPX have come alive in this game. Picks in mid, you still got Xiaohu pushing top solo, like he's in a phenomenal spot. And again, Rift Herald is still there for the taking, so they're just using the time advantage that RNG have committed to the bot side to actually just get more stuff on the map.
You know, we always talk about level 16 Kale. I'm not even waiting for 16. Xiaohu's already online. He's beating the crap out of Breathe up at the top side right now. Won't even let him get a barrel off at this rate. As Gala pushes down in the bottom side, at least he'll get a tower, but they're losing a tier 2 at the top side, or at least a lot of pressure onto that tier 2. There's a Herald being taken by FPX, and as you say, this team has come alive. RNG come back into the LPL, and boy do they have a challenge to start it off.
Yeah, and look, even on objective, bounties are up and available. Just says how far behind RNG are, but we're going to catch it in the replay here. Care putting Xiaohu in his place. And this is what I was saying, right? Like, I was actually really excited to see what Care could do. It feels like Care has really stepped up massively for this squad. The first series that they had, him on the Talia, roaming around the map. Now we get to see him strutting his stuff against Xiaohu as well.
Beautifully done. Honestly, Care, really exceptional play. And Clid has been so much more on board with the rest of the squad. He has been so proactive in this game. Like, whatever Care wants to do, whatever Hung wants to do, Clid is there alongside them, making it happen. It's beautiful to see. And now he's the one with a Herald in pocket. We've got to see where he's going to place that one, because 2 Drakes already on the board. 40 seconds until that next Drake. I'd love to see that Herald used in the bottom lane just to buy some space on the side of FPX, but it'll be mid lane instead.
I think you can actually just threaten the tier 2 here, and I mean, FPX have realized it, right? And now RNG, they have to back away or at least try and contest this midway push, but that gives time to Xiaohu to continue his presence on this top side. Gonna reset, looks like Xiaohu should have the wit's end, but actually just gonna stick here. This is the right call, right? Like, threaten both the inhib and that tier 2 mid at the same time.
Yeah, like, look, we already got the first 2 Drakes. We really don't care. We really don't care if you get 1 Drake, because we're going to take your entire base for it. Counter Barrage going to be used to stop Xiaohu pushing here, but there goes a mid tier 2, and with a Herald charge, with a Xayah hitting away onto this tower, that'll be an inhib tower in the mid lane, gone down in favor of FPX here, and a bonus wave for Xiaohu up in the top side. He'll have to back away, but man, RNG not winning that trade.
And this is... Oh, hang on, Ming.
Oh,
Oh,
Clid
good
trying to
flash.
go for it. Good flash from Ming and from Gala there to keep himself safe.
And this is why I've like been so impressed with how FPX have kind of elevated their play coming in through summer, right? One of the big issues that we had with FPX, and we always joked about it, was like the FPX bar, right? We get to 20 minutes, we're just going to go and like try and make sure that we can fight at Baron because we have no idea what we're supposed to do from
Are you
that
trying to
point forward.
cast a kiss right now? We've still got a minute and
No,
9
no,
seconds.
no.
Like,
What I'm saying is, I actually think FPX have really elevated their mid game coming into the split, and we're seeing it there, right? They don't actually decide that they have to fight at the Dragon. You could see Shalahu was thinking, hey, we reset. Maybe we can try and take the 5v5, but instead they go, look, we're going to take mid inhib, we're going to take top tier 2, we got a ton of damage onto the top inhibitor tower as well, and we never end up throwing away the potential in a 5v5 situation to just close out this game cleanly. And I think that says a lot about Stake as well, who's the coach in this team. Like, this guy used to be the Flash Wolves coach, then moved on to RNG, then LNG, and now is on towards FPX since the start of 2021. I think this guy has been doing such a phenomenal job with this squad.
he certainly has, based on the start of this game. Only 20 minutes in, though. It ain't over just yet. RNG still in the mix on this one. 3,000, 4,000 gold leaders. Hung caught up, but flashes out to safety here. And now Care wants to re-engage on this one. Everfrost going to go wide. Is the tower taken by Breed? Care once more. Charm comes in. On to Ming. It's a good target because he can't devour himself. And now the Charms is the rest of the team. Hung finds a knock-up and goes down for his trouble. Care trying to do the damage, but he's low on mana right now. LWX wants to pull the feathers and finish the fight. In goes Clid to finish another off. And Breed left alone on the top side. FPX, they've got a lead and they know how to use it.
And now they can actually just go straight towards the Baron as well. Kare's going to reset, has his TP to get back into the fight. You can see that Wei is hovering around, has the ultimate if he wants to try and get in, but, I mean, there's wards galore here.
The thing is, this is a good 20-minute Baron. This is a 20-minute Baron that they have an opportunity for. Care going to play zoning, going to get onto Wei. Maybe not zoning, maybe playing for killing right here. But the Baron goes down, and FPX, they get a 20-minute Baron, and it's a good one, Dagda! It's happening!
And this is why I've actually been excited about FPX, if they can just fix the early game. It's why I was so annoyed to see that they weren't having the early game come together, because when you get these leads, now it really does feel like FPX understand how to try and play through the mid game. A Baron now at 21 minutes into the game. Dragon is up in 2 minutes, so they can actually set up to try and push in waves and look for that as well. And a lot of this, as you say, coming off the back of Care here, understanding, look, I can try and help Hung out. They've overextended as RNG, and the cavalry is on the way.
Great little chase down here from FPX, and as you say, look at the minimap right there. Clid on the flank. He's making sure nobody can escape as the rest of the team wins with a numbers advantage. It's so nicely played by him.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what we wanted to see. Great team fighting, great use of the ultimate coming through from the KL to keep Clid up and standing, and Breed just completely separated from the rest of the team. And now we get the full presence on the spot side. And don't forget, we're still 2 levels away from Shella, who hitting level 16. It's not like this is going to be just a pushover if RNG can get to the later portion of the game. FPX are in such a good spot.
And look at Care's build. Death Cap second item. That's more like it. None of this Banshees nonsense. He's got damage. He's playing to assassinate people. And rightly so, with how FPX have been playing this game. He has been a crucial piece of the puzzle. Every single pick that they're making. Almost 100% kill participation so far this game.
Yeah, and he's just going to go and push in mid now, create that pressure across side lanes. Clid as well, trying to play bodyguard between the 2 lanes. And Shalahu with LWX, this is kind of where it gets a bit tough because you are pretty short range trying to attack on towards these turrets, but once they can try and keep the cannon minions alive, that should be relatively easier. But here, let's be careful. RNG trying to set up.
Oh, he's been caught out here, but Hung trying to get the charms on through. There's a pick for RNG, and maybe more as LWX pulls the feathers and keeps himself safe. Can they find more? Xiaolahu getting chased down. Level 15, he's getting close to that all-important mark on the KO, but crucially, a pick for RNG will buy them breathing room.
Yeah, and now you see Xiaohu TPing up to the top side. They know that Dragon's in 20 seconds, and with the flash and the ultimate burnt by Xiaohu in that last fight, they're not going to be able to try and contest this Dragon. So trying to see if he can at least set up some pressure on side lanes where maybe RNG can look to revisit in just a moment's time. You can even see Xiaohu cancelling the recall there. They see members of FPX and Dragon, they're going to go for the turret instead.
Yeah, Xiaohu playing very intelligently there, channeling the recall in case somebody comes to answer. Once he realizes he's safe, continues with the tower. Very nicely done. As LWX will just solo this Drake out, has the feathers to pull back to finish it off. 3 Drakes on the board now for FPX. A 5,000-6,000 gold lead in their favor as well. RNG trying to answer, but really have the split push damage. You know, it is a Lissandra at the end of the day. Not exactly the greatest champion for taking down towers.
Yeah, they tried to move way up as well, but because both Care and Shella who are missing, they didn't want to try and overcommit. So now you end up with 3rd Dragon for FPX, a 6,000 gold lead for themselves as well. Pressure across the board, and I mean, honestly, when you've got Shella who as well, very close to hitting that level 16, just 1 level away. RNG not looking so hot in this one. I mean, pretty much if you look at AD carry and the top lane, you're going to be looking at 2 levels nearly across the board advantage for FPX.
So I've got a question for you back there, because we've got 3 items on LWX. We're about to hit 3 items on Gala, you'd assume. He's already got that BF sword, getting very close to finishing the IE. Are we more scared of the level 16 on Kale or of the 3 items on Jinx? Which one's the more OP scaling?
I think definitely Kale in this scenario. I think the biggest problem for Gala is just trying to see how he's going to set up in team fights, right? Because if Care is diving at you, Hung's coming at you as well, you don't get the opportunity to just free fire the whole time. Whereas with FPX in the position they're in, Shella should have that ability to, and even just his presence on side lanes as well alone means that you need 2 people to deal with him, maybe even 3 with the way RNG are posturing on the bot side of the map, and that's where you're able to draw more attention to Shella.
Look at the vision. There is 2 wards, 3 wards, 2 of them which are just in top lane right now, and 1 pink at Raptors here for the side of RNG. They are struggling. They are completely blind. They're playing in darkness. Xiaohu wants to take advantage of that fact, so close to level 16, but I don't think he wants it. I don't think he cares about level 16. He wants it all in here. Drops his ulti, flashes forward, doesn't get the damage, but it doesn't matter. Xiaohu solo killing Breathe on a Kayle.
And with that, the level 16 is hit in FPX. They now know that there's blood in the water. Moving in towards the mid lane, they should get the inhibitor. You're getting the push from Shella on the bot side as well. This is so well played by FPX.
35 seconds, still 30 seconds until Breathe comes back as Hung goes for the engage. The rest of the team following up beautifully. Way's already gone before he knows what's happened. Clid turns golden. Xiaohu doesn't go in, doesn't pull the trigger, and Clid will survive. FPX another pick here. They took the inhib, and now Baron is up in 30 seconds. They might just go for a second one of the game.
And where is the jungler for RNG? Another 20 seconds until he's up and available, so won't actually be able to get towards the objective. So FPX go for the quick reset. They're going to move over towards the Baron. And RNG, you need some sort of miracle play. But, I mean, we can see what Shella is capable of. Where does that come from, right? Breathe knows there's funny business going on, but Shella auto-attacks every single barrel, so Breed doesn't get a chance to actually get a barrel to connect to Shella, even the last one not quite able to work out for him, and Shella just takes him down.
Very nicely done. Bit of a fumble on the flash, but that's okay. We allow those when you're finding solo kills against Breathe. Breathe in his first game on RNG as well. Having a bit of a hard time of it so far. Look at this engage as well from Hung, right? Onto everybody, and denies the Spectrum more, actually, from Way.
Here we go, though. Baron has been started by FPX. RNG are moving in. If Way can make a steal, maybe it can happen.
He's going to try, but Hung finds the knock-up. Way has been found. Tries to escape through the rest of his team, and it's Ming to be sacrificed, but Way ended up falling as well. Anyway, that's a big bit of damage from Breathe. My goodness. Gangplank is definitely a champion in League of Legends, that's for sure. As Baron will be started up again. This time, no contestation available, and this time, it's taken down once again for FPX. Next straight coming up in a minute as well. It feels like just everything is turning up FPX this game.
Yeah, I mean, second Baron for them now. You've got the mid inhibitor already down. Bot lane is in a position where FPX can go and join. Breathe may actually get caught out here.
He might. LWX dodges the barrel. Shala, who's there, Hung on the flank potentially, but doesn't have quickness available. So I think Breathe will be fine on this one as Gala just desperately trying to clear these supers. Remember, Gala doesn't actually have his tier 2 boots just yet. So yes, 3 items, but fairly slow on attack speed compared to what you're used to from a late game Jinx at this point. Barrels come out onto Hung once again. Remember, the healing from Rakan has been improved, so he'll have a little bit more sustain than what you used to.
wave bottom, wave top. FPX playing this so slow, so well orchestrated with both waves crashing at the same time, and RNG just kind of look and go, what the hell are we supposed to do here?
Wade gets a stun, but it's at the cost of Gala's health bar. Has to ult out himself. Shala, who just walks forward and basically two-shots Gala. He's in a 1v5 while the rest of the team takes the rest of the base. And the rocket is blocked by Hung. It's too beautiful. Double for Xiaolahu and FPX. We criticize their coordination, and they give us the biggest team win we've seen of the split. It's a quadra for Xiaolahu, and scumbag LWX ruins it.
Shadow, I'd throw that coffee at LWX. Get him back. Can't believe he stole it. But really well played by FPX. And honestly, I think they're just going to be super happy with the way that game went. Like, the fact they got off to this early lead with Clid setting up these plays. The mid game was beautifully orchestrated, like playing so well around that third dragon. FPX, that was so